Last year, the eyes of the world were fixed on London. The Olympics brought a carnival atmosphere to the streets and the city was celebrating one of its great triumphs. A year before that, though, London was in the news for very different reasons. Riots swept through the capital on a scale which surprised and shocked the world. Well, now a group of young people have made a film about what caused those riots and whether anything in reality has changed. Well, in a minute, we'll be speaking to Nygh, the director of that documentary, Riot from Wrong, and also Alex Simpson, a youth campaigner who narrates the film. First of all, though, let's just get a reminder of that period.
I'm 51 years old. I have been to demonstrations and engaged in issues with police officers since the age of 14. And in all that time, I've never seen the police behave or respond in the way they did.
The disorder spiralled out of control and ultimately led to the devastation of London High Road. This was the start of 4 days of rioting, mass looting, burning and destruction which spread right across London and other major cities in England.
Well, that's a part of Riots from Wrong. It's just before we speak to our guests, Teddy and Alex, just have another look at the film, actually investigating and analysing what caused this mass demonstration on the streets.
I mean, there are some pretty pertinent statistics which I think the government was willfully ignoring in the aftermath of the riots, and it's things like the fact that they cut 75% of the youth services budget nationwide. That led to, in Tottenham specifically, 8 out of 13 youth centres closing in the borough, which is not insignificant. That's, you know, that's a massive kind of depletion of resources.
So, the question that everyone's asking is, what are the solutions?
Well, the voice you heard there was Alex Simpson narrating that film, alongside him Nygh, director of the documentary Riot from Wrong. Alex, well, let's pick up that question you asked at the end of that clip. What are the solutions?
What are the solutions? I'd say for the government and for policymakers to start listening to young people and listening to the voices and consulting with community members, because they're the ones that actually experience all of these things, and starting from grassroots.
But among all the problems, I mean, some people would suggest that there was a lot of opportunism here. I mean, a lot of crime was committed by people who actually saw the opportunity and took it. Do you accept that that is a factor, along with a lot of other issues as well?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, mainstream media was broadcasting the fact that all these people were going into shops and that police were standing by and not doing anything about it. So yes, a lot of people saw that as an opportunity to go out and to take things that in other situations they wouldn't be able to afford. So yeah.
Teddy, you started making this film, I think, didn't you? Sort of soon after the riots started. How difficult was it to get hold of people to talk about the reasons why? And was there anything that particularly surprised you about why people said they were getting involved in this?
So making Riot from Wrong for us was a big challenge because we made it with no budget at all. And we came together on the 4th day of the riots. As a youth media organisation, we decided we had to do something. So this is why we went out there. And it did take time, and it was a challenge to build up the trust of many members of the community, because they had a real fear and scepticism of the media, because they were being afraid that their words would get twisted or that they wouldn't be represented in the right way. Because the whole reason we came together, well, part of the reason, the kind of drive why we came together in the first place, was the demonisation of young people in the media, and also the misinformation that first came out that there was a shootout between Mark Duggan and the police, when in fact there was no shootout on Mark's part. We know that now from the inquest. And so these are the kind of reasons why.
OK, just for viewers who are not familiar with this, Mark Duggan was shot on, well, August the 4th, wasn't it? 4 days before the riot started, in what was a police trap of his, in his flat, I think, wasn't it?
It was, he was in a taxi, and it was when he got out of the taxi he was shot twice and killed. And the family didn't actually get any answers or any consultation from the police in the following 2 days. They didn't hear anything. So this is why family and friends had a peaceful protest to Tottenham 2 days later, which was the 6th of August. And shortly after that, that's when the actual unrest began.
Alex, is it fair to say that the mainstream media did demonise youth? I mean, surely what they were doing is they were reporting what seemed to be this sudden conflagration of anger on the streets, sparked, it seemed originally, by the shooting of Mark Duggan.
Yeah, well...
What examples were there of the demonisation of youth, do you think?
Well, I think it was the fact that they're reporting that it was just young people. People watching it from other countries that we've spoken to, the impression they got that it was just young people on the streets, when we know, and I could see watching the news, that no, they're big old people.
And the blanket reporting
on the streets,
wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The blanket reporting. It wasn't saying some young people, as if all young people in Britain had gone mad or had turned into feral thugs. And it's not the point of the crimes that were committed. That's obvious. It's the issues underneath that we needed to look deeper at and have a deeper conversation about.
And do you think any of those issues, like unemployment, like services being reduced, like the inequality between rich and poor, do you think any of those things have now been addressed and are improving? Because, I mean, some would argue that this country is even more divisive in terms of the chasm between the wealthy and those who don't have money. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Alex?
Well, no, you still see services getting cut. We get information that unemployment is going down, but from what we can see, it's short-term unemployment. It's people on 0-hour job contracts that haven't actually got no work. They just got a contract off work. So that's not actually improving, and the state of things.
So what is it, Teddy, just as a final thought, because we haven't got very much time left, but what is it that keeps a lid on that sort of anger, do you think, now, which was blown off 2 years ago?
I think it's a pressure cooker, and I think we need to get to the heart of the issues within our society, and we must not sweep our issues under the carpet. Otherwise, there is no lid. It's people's self-respect and dignity that keeps the lid on there. But unless we, as a nation, look at our issues and we face them head on.
OK. Teddy and Alex, good luck with the film. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on the programme.